Today, I want to look at Revelation 14, verses 6 and 7. I'll read it from the NASB. It says, "And I saw another angel flying in mid-heaven, having an eternal gospel to preach to those who live on the earth, and to every nation, and tribe, and tongue, and people. And he said with a loud voice, 'Fear God, and give him glory, because the hour of his judgment has come. Worship him who made the heaven and the earth and sea and springs of water.'" Worship, I've heard said, is something that all people do. Many people think that worship is just done by those who claim to have religious faith. However, if we take worship to mean serving something as ultimate, I think it's true that everyone is actually a worshipper. For example, people worship money, people worship success, or their fame, or reputation, or sex, or they worship their good looks, or they worship freedom or security. People worship these things, whether they might claim to have religious faith or not. Yet people do worship, a land god, a sea god. People worship the Christian God. They worship Allah. People worship different gods that people would claim to be associated with a religious faith. But everyone is a worshipper. Well, here God tells us who is worthy of worship. The English word worship has to do with giving God his worth. He's the one worthy of it. And these verses bookend the gospel for us. They tell us that an angel came and is mid-heaven. He's like at the zenith, the top point of the sky. As such, he's proclaiming to people of the earth, or the land, and to every nation. So to everyone. This is a message that everyone needs to hear. And to every tribe, to every people group, to everyone of any language needs to hear this. What does he say? He said with a loud voice, "Fear God and give him glory." And there's two reasons why we're called to worship him here. One is that he is the creator, and one is that he is the judge. The Bible goes from creation to new creation, and it sees that God is at the center. God is the one who is the creator, and God is the one who is judge. He is the one at the start, and he is the one at the end of this lifetime whom we are to give an account to. And in light of these two endpoints, we're called to live and to worship. To not worship ourselves, but to worship him. To give him his worth. Not to worship created things. See, if he is the one who made the heaven, everything in it, the stars, the moon, the sky, then we're not called to worship the stars or the moon or the sun or the sky. If he's the one who made the earth and the sea and springs of waters, we're not called to worship those things. We're not even called to worship anything else that people do worship and live for, their success, money, so forth, themselves, because he's the one who created things. He's the creator worthy of worship. So the Bible uses the analogy of the potter and the clay. So if you are a potter who has clay and you mold it, then you have a right to say what that clay pot or whatever it is you've made is for. What its use is, what it's going to be used for, what its meaning is, its purpose in life is. Well, so God has created the creation, including human beings, including you, including me, to live for him. And so he has the right to determine what our purpose is, what our being is. And it's derived, it says, not from our own internal thoughts and ponderings of what we're to be about, but ultimately from him. We derive our worth, our being, our identity, what we're to be about, our meaning and purpose, from him ultimately. So he is the creator, worthy of worship. Secondly, this tells us that he is the judge. Fear God and give him glory, verse 7, because the hour of his judgment has come. Reminds us of that Jesus, who has come in his first coming to die for our sins, to put us right with God, so that he could be both just and also merciful to us, so that we can be forgiven. He who has done that has also risen from death and ascended to heaven as the judge of the living and the dead, reminds us of that. And in light of these two bookends of the Bible, of him being the creator, him being the judge, that we're called to worship him, to worship Jesus, and to put our faith and our trust in him. Thanks.